Most people know she gave up Hollywood for a prince. Almost nobody talks about what Monaco got in return. First, some context. Monaco in 1955 was not impressive, a tiny state of just 0.78 square miles with 20,000 residents, an army of 82 soldiers, and a single economic engine, the Casino de Monte Carlo. France, under de Gaulle, was actively considering absorbing it, and while Monaco certainly had a reputation, reputation isn't the same as an image. It was known the way a Swiss bank account is known, useful, discreet, and utterly devoid of romance. Then Grace Kelly stepped off a boat in the harbor. Here's what happened next. 1. She saved Monaco's independence, without a single treaty. This is the most underrated item on the list. In the mid-1950s, de Gaulle was impatient and Monaco's case for continued independence rested more on historical inertia than practical logic. Grace Kelly changed the strategic calculation overnight. The moment she married Rainier, Monaco acquired something it had never possessed, an American constituency. 200 million people with an emotional investment in Monaco's existence. De Gaulle was many things, he was not politically reckless. Absorbing Monaco with Grace Kelly inside the palace and American journalists camped outside it would have created a diplomatic headache with Washington that served no French interest. Monaco's independence, which had survived centuries on luck, now survived on something more durable, American affection. Manufactured not by diplomacy, but by one woman celebrity. 2. She generated a media storm Monaco couldn't have bought. When the engagement was announced in January 1956, American newspapers ran it on the front page. Not the society pages, the front pages. Life magazine devoted multiple issues to it. Over 100 journalists booked passage on the same ship carrying Grace to Monaco, filing daily dispatches from the Atlantic Ocean about a woman sailing to a country most readers had never thought about before. Monaco had purchased no advertising. It had run no campaigns. It had simply acquired Grace Kelly, and Grace Kelly brought her entire global audience with her. 3. She triggered a tourism boom built on genuine desire. Wealthy Americans, newly traveling to Europe in post-war numbers, now had a specific reason to visit Monaco. Not just the casino, the place itself. The setting of the fairy tale. They wanted to drive the Corniche road she drove. Eat at the restaurants she patronized. Walk through the market she walked through. Brand theorists call this the halo effect. Grace didn't endorse Monaco, she was Monaco in the global imagination. Visitor numbers grew steadily through the late 1950s and 60s. The profile shifted, wealthier, more international, more American. Hotel construction accelerated. Luxury retail expanded. She didn't just bring tourists. She brought the right ones. 4. She replaced Monaco's identity entirely. Before Grace Kelly, European casino town. Prosperous, slightly rakish, the kind of place gentlemen of uncertain reputation went to lose money elegantly. After Grace Kelly, luxury destination. Fashion capital. The place where royalty and Hollywood intersect. She had spent her entire Hollywood career constructing a specific image, cool, composed, American elegance, and she transferred it to Monaco completely. The principality absorbed her aesthetic and made it its own. The Grand Prix. The yacht club. The fashion houses. The international ultra-wealthy clientele. That identity has a foundation, and it was poured in April 1956. 5. She built genuine cultural legitimacy. Grace arrived with a lifelong commitment to the arts, not performative patronage, but actual engagement. She ran the Monaco Red Cross professionally. She co-founded the International Television Festival of Monte Carlo. She elevated the Monte Carlo Ballet, hosted salons at the palace that attracted serious creative figures, and spent the final decade of her life giving public poetry readings across Europe that were received as genuine artistic events. There's a difference between a place that is wealthy and a place that is civilized. Wealth assembles quickly. Civilization takes generations, or, in Monaco's case, one woman with taste, discipline, and the authority to direct institutional resources toward something lasting. 6. She created a media relationship that never ended. The cameras that followed Grace to Monaco in 1956 never really left. That relationship between the palace, the press, and the global public became self-sustaining. Today, Grand Prix coverage lingers on the palace balcony as a matter of course. Luxury brands choose Monaco for launches because the cameras are already there. Filmmakers use it as a setting because the image is already loaded with meaning. Grace established that relationship. Every subsequent generation has simply inherited it. 7. He gave Monaco a story, and stories outlast everything. Tax advantages can be replicated. Good weather is not unique to Monaco. Casino gambling exists everywhere now. What cannot be replicated is the story, the Philadelphia girl, the Hollywood star, the fairy tale wedding, the palace on the Mediterranean. That story gave Monaco an emotional reality in the global imagination that no amount of marketing spend could manufacture. It made the principality legible to people who would never visit it, aspirational to people who would, and unforgettable to anyone who paid attention. Rainier outlived Grace by 23 years. Late in life, he acknowledged with the directness of a man who had governed for 50 years what she had meant strategically. She had, he said, given Monaco to the world. The exchange rate, in retrospect, was overwhelmingly in the principality's favor. If you want more stories about royalty, subscribe.